Things are gonna get crazy!
Most everyone's mad here.
Hello, everybody! Welcome back to a brand new episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. And oh boy, right as I got this started, we just got a new fish with JF. Hey, thank you so much, dude. What a way to go and immediately begin this. It's been a little while, hasn't it, folks? And I know that since the last episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast, there has been a lot that has happened. In fact, I believe even Halloween has actually occurred. And not to mention that the last time I streamed in general, I did do a charity stream where I played Cuphead, the Delicious Last Course, to go and raise funds for the Gamers Outreach Foundation. Now, so far during that stream, I've only raised about $200, but hey, I know it's not a lot, and it wasn't my goal of $500, but still, raising $200 for charity isn't nothing. But still, I know that outside of that, though, there's been plenty of things that's been happening in the news all around the world, and even in animation. But I just want to go and tell you all that the reason why there hasn't been an episode last week was because even though, yes, there were some animation news that did occur, I just felt like they weren't strong enough to make a full-on episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. I mean, let's be honest, is there really a lot to go and talk about when it comes to the announcement of an animated movie based on the Monster Mash song? And not to mention that, yes, I know that Backyard Baseball is getting a 2D special, but honestly, I haven't played the game, so I personally couldn't really go and put my opinion onto that. So with the materials that we got last week, they weren't strong enough to make a great episode, which is why I delayed it to here, and now I can pretty much say that the wait is going to really pay off, because now we got a whole bunch of great stories to go and cover, to go and talk about, along with some very special surprises, because I can tell you right now that I do have a special little thing in store for you all that will make things up for the no episode that happened last week. All right, so now with all that said, it is time that I shall go and pass this on to the chat wall, and I'd like to ask you all, are you all ready for today's episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast? Let me hear it, folks. Who is ready? All right, so let's see now. Are we? Oh, yes, I see. People are prepared. People are ready. All right, so with all that said, I believe now that since everyone is all prepared for this, it is time that we shall go and get things started. And with our first story that I have for you today, we're going to go and ease on into our way back into AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast, where we will go and check out a trailer. But before we do and check that out, I do want to go and mention that since last time, there have been a lot of announcements of animated films that are going to be coming out in the near future. There was the announcement that the Cocomelon movie is going to be coming out in early 2027. Then in 2028, Warner Brothers is going to release a Hello Kitty movie. And in 2029, Netflix's Sony is planning to release the sequel to K-pop Demon Hunters. But we're not going to be looking into any of that. In fact, the trailer that we got here isn't even animated. It's actually going to be a live-action movie, but it's already set up to become what is possibly one of the most anticipated films of 2026. And there really is a lot of hype, especially in terms of what the subject of this feature is going to be about. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and begin this episode by checking out the teaser trailer for the upcoming biopic, Michael.
I know you've been waiting a long time for this.
And that is Michael, the biopic of Michael Jackson, to which the movie is going to be coming out on April 24th. Now, of course, it is worth saying that this is all part of the big trend that we have been seeing in recent years of making biopics based on music legends. As you probably remember, this has been initiated by Bohemian Rhapsody that became a major hit back in, I believe, in 2018. And since then, Hollywood has pretty much been chasing to find what would be the next Bohemian Rhapsody, to find a music legend and then go and make a big biopic about them. And we have seen from time to time, like, a lot of prominent ones and those that, well, let's just say did not work as well as Bohemian Rhapsody. Rather it be with Rocket Man about Elton John. There was also another one about Amy Winehouse. There was one not too long ago about Bob Marley. And very recently, actually, considering that was very prominent during award season, we had one about Bob Dylan starring Timothée Chalamet. But now we're about to get one of Michael Jackson, and this one is very anticipated. And I know that technically there is another that is very much anticipated as well. I believe there's going to be not one movie, but a whole cinematic universe of the Beatles, where I believe it's going to be Sony. And you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it is Sam Raimi who's going to be directing each of them. I don't know if it is Sam Raimi, but it is a prominent director where he's going to be making a movie based on the lives of each of the members of the Beat. Okay, no, not Sam Raimi. Sorry, it's Sam Mendes. Thank you so much. And yes, some people are pointing out other examples. Yeah, there is also Elvis. I forgot about Elvis. Whitney Houston, and of course, the Weird Al movie. There is that too. But to go back to what I was talking about with the Beatles one, which will be directed by Sam Mendes, there's going to be a movie for each of the members with George, Paul, John, and Ringo. So that is all going to be set up and prepared for the near future. But the next big one that's going to be coming up is right over here with Michael, which will be directed by Anthony Fuqua, and not to mention that it will be starring Jafar Jackson, who is the nephew of Michael Jackson. And even though this is just a teaser trailer, we only got about a minute's worth of footage of showing us what is going to be in store. One thing that I will say is already giving me a pretty solid first impression is actually Jafar Jackson. Now, does he look exactly like his uncle? Honestly, not that much. But I will say, from the performance that he is giving and like all the quick little clips that we have seen so far, I think he's going to be a massive highlight. It really does show that he's putting a lot of energy in recreating that magic of what made Michael Jackson so iconic. And even like just this little piece right over here, like the only time that you actually get to hear him talk as Michael, like let's just have a re-listen here.
Q, can you lower the lights for me, please?
Okay, but
like even that little bit, and it's like, okay, if that's how he's going to be with his performance as Michael Jackson, I think we're going to be in for a pretty solid ride. Like, he will do his job very well to honor his uncle's legacy and to honor who his uncle was when he was alive. And this is not even to mention like all the throwbacks, like especially all the different recreations of many of his biggest hits. And of course, one of them has to be like you got over here. He's doing Thriller. So of course, we're going to see a remake of that entire music video, or not of the entire music video, but seeing a highlight of that. And then, of course, like you also got a little bit of a moment where they're going to be setting up for Bad also. And this is just, and like so many others. And this is not even to mention like his big moments in concert where he would be performing live and doing all the major dance moves like right over here. Like you're ready. Well, like we're ready to see him in action, just recreating those dance moves, considering that it is a big part of Michael Jackson, that it's not just from his singing that makes him so iconic. It's also from the dances. That's why, like, when he would go on tour, they would be like major sellout concerts, like major events if they would happen near you, because you want to see the King of Pop to go and ultimately perform. So all in all, this is pretty much to say that if there's one great thing that I got from this teaser trailer is the performance of Jafar Jackson, whom, even from the little clips I've seen, it looks like they are showing a bit of promise that he's going to be amazing, possibly even a highlight of this entire movie. But with that said, though, even though this is going to be massively anticipated, is this going to be a great movie? Is it going to immediately be one of the best films of 2026? Honestly, I have a little bit of doubts on that. And that's mainly because we are talking about a movie that is following the trend of Bohemian Rhapsody. Like, as I said before, those biopics based on some of the biggest names in the music industry. So from there is a possibility that, based on what we've seen in the trailer here, that we're just going to go and see like highlights of many of the most popular songs of Michael Jackson. It's like how he came up with songs like Thriller or Bad or Billie Jean or any of those songs right there. It's going to be like a bit of a compilation of like looking into the making of the best of Michael Jackson, not to mention seeing the elements of when he grew up. So it's not just going to be like Michael Jackson's epic solo career, but then there's also the moments where you see him as a kid, like back with the Jackson 5. So, of course, there's also going to be those times where we're also going to see like those hits over there, including ABC and all that kind of stuff. And of course, like, yeah, they'll probably throw in some drama going on because, of course, the life of Michael Jackson, there is an element to it. Like, if you are familiar with his story, it can be pretty, well, dramatic would be a nice word, but there's also something about it that feels very sad, where he doesn't necessarily have a childhood. And that does explain his personality in his later life, where he would keep on acting as a kid when he would grow up. And I mean, like, yeah, there's a fine line between being a kid at heart and then being psychologically scarred to the point of still trying to have a childhood, even when you're like in your 30s and 40s and stuff like that. So maybe they'll look into that, but honestly, I feel like with what they are showing in this trailer, it's going to be like Bohemian Rhapsody, where it's not necessarily going to be like a serious biopic looking into the life of Michael Jackson, but rather it's going to be more like a compilation showing like the making of some of his biggest hits. Again, similarly to what we saw with Bohemian Rhapsody, that's like, yeah, you got those elements of drama that's going on, but it's mostly to see like the making of the songs like Bohemian Rhapsody and We Will Rock You, and even like some of the biggest moments in the band's history, like with the Band-Aid concert and all that kind of stuff. So basically what I'm saying is that I wouldn't be surprised if Michael would come out more as a crowd pleaser, more so than an actual serious biopic that wants to tell the compelling story of Michael Jackson. Especially that when it comes to Michael Jackson, there are those aspects that are very controversial. And I did hear that behind the scenes, like there was a debate rather if they would get into some of the more serious stuff about Michael Jackson, including the allegations that were against him, if they would actually go and discuss about that. That's going to be that it's more going to be a wait and see kind of factor. And I'm sure there are probably at some points that maybe it's not going to be 100% accurate to Michael Jackson's life, But I don't know. But still, though, like, even though I do call it a crowd pleaser, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad thing. Maybe it won't mean that it'll be one of the best movies that we will get in recent years, but it's still going to be fun to watch. You know, like even with Bohemian Rhapsody, do I think it's a great movie? No, but as a crowd pleaser, it is still very enjoyable to watch. And I mean, it is fun to see how the movie would go and recreate those iconic moments of like how they made Bohemian Rhapsody, or seeing a full-on remake of the Live Aid concert. So in that regards, either way, if it's going to be a good movie or not, I think maybe that could be debatable. But is it going to be an enjoyable movie? And are Michael Jackson fans especially, are they going to enjoy it? Absolutely. So far, this is giving out a pretty solid first impression. And if you are interested in checking out Michael, then keep in mind it will be coming out in theaters on April 24th. All right, so with that said, now it is time. I would like to pass this on to the chat wall, and I'd like to ask you all, what do you all think about the teaser trailer of Michael? Are you guys excited to see this movie? Did this trailer give you a good first impression of how that's going to be? Or do you still have some serious doubts about this Michael Jackson biopic? In fact, let me go and ask you all. I might as well go and put up a poll right over here. And I want to go and ask you, did you like the teaser of Michael? So I'm just going to go and put in yes, and then I'll put in no, and then we'll see what the response is. I'm not going to go and immediately ask if you guys are going to go and watch it. I think we're going to wait until the full trailer comes out, so that we do have a better idea of how the movie is going to be, and like when it's going to be closer to when it does come out, then we'll go and ask, like, are you going to go and watch it? All right. But anyways, let's see what the chat wall has to say over here. All right. Look, I'm a big fan of Michael Jackson. Well, at least his music. But from what I'm seeing here, this looks all right. Jafar Jackson's impression is solid, and the recreation of the music videos is pretty cool, but there's nothing here that really pops here. It looks like it's going to follow the typical biopic formula. I'll need to see more before I 100% jump to conclusions, but right now, it looks okay. I have no end here, but I will say, watch Better Man. It's such a good musical biopic. Better Man, sorry for the brain fart, but which one is Better Man, by the way? Like, what does Better Man talk about? Is it, I just want to have a bit of a clarification. I don't doubt you. I just need to know, it's like, who is Better Man about? Let's see. Oh, the one with the oh, Robbie Williams. Oh my God, I forgot about that. Yeah, you know what? That is true. I feel like Better Man is one that I have yet to see it, but I've heard so many amazing things about it. Like, I know there's a lot of people who would crap on it, saying like, oh, it's a biopic about people of someone I don't know about, and he replaced himself with a monkey. But then again, from the people who have seen it, they say that it is amazing. So yeah, honestly, that's one that like I need to remember to go and check out. Like again, I've heard a lot of amazing things about Better Man. All right, let's see here. I'll admit that I'm not a huge Michael Jackson fan, but I will say this definitely has a lot of promise. Jafar Jackson seems like he's going to give a solid performance, and it looks like it could do a great job of showing the life of Michael Jackson and how he became a music legend we know today. So overall, this definitely has potential, and this looks like it'll be far better than what we previously got with Leaving Neverland. Seriously, that thing was a disgrace. Yeah, it is also worth noting that I know that beforehand, we've gotten a lot of not just documentaries, but other biopics as well about the life of Michael Jackson. And to say that they're underwhelming is quite generous. Not to mention that there are some that really do emphasize the drama of the life of Michael Jackson, especially really trying to capitalize on the controversy. So yeah, nowadays, I think it is safe to say that those movies and those documentaries, they've not aged well, safe to say. All right, let's see what other comments. Actually, just want to go and mention that, wow, it is almost unanimous with the people who have voted that apparently 96% of you who have voted, only one person disagrees, but 96% of you who have voted that yes, you did say that you actually liked the teaser trailer of Michael. So that already indicates that it did bring out a pretty solid first impression there. Let's see now. As a big fan of Michael Jackson's work, I'm really hyped to see this biopic. I'm really happy specifically that they got Jafar Jackson to play MJ because of the fact that he is related to MJ. The effort that's being put into this biopic is amazing, but I'm still oddly unsure about parts about it since apparently a lot of it got cut due to reasons. But aside that, I will be seated to hear Billie Jean on the big screen. Oh, yeah. Like, if there's any major Michael Jackson song that you want to hear, there's a good chance that they're going to go and play it somewhere. Even if it is like a little moment that would be part of a montage, they will highlight that, especially Billie Jean. Let's see. What other comments would there be? Okay, I'll go there. I'll go with this. This looks interesting. It'll probably be a fun biopic. I don't expect it to be any different, but I think it would be fun. It would be funny to read credits and hear review talk about the performance of Jafar Jackson. However, maybe I'm speculating too much, but I think this might be a death knell for 80s nostalgia. I don't know. I feel like the 80s nostalgia is now coming to an end. The movie is definitely going to be a spectacle. Well, to be very honest, I get where you're coming from, and 80s nostalgia is starting to become very tiresome. I mean, we are at the point where Stranger Things like really capitalized hard on 80s nostalgia, but now that is going to be coming to an end. And there are some that tried to emphasize on 80s nostalgia, but that ended up failing, as we have seen recently with Tron Ares, where that also really tried to really lean heavily on 80s nostalgia. Even Jared Leto would have some scenes where he would go, 80s are great, man, or something like that. But I haven't seen the movie, but I did hear that apparently that's another movie where its problems include leaning too heavily on 80s nostalgia. But I don't think this is a case of like, this movie is just going to be all about remembering the 80s. This is mainly about Michael Jackson. And I think in that regards, even if it would be like 80s nostalgia clickbait, I don't think it would be the kind that would deter people away because, again, this is about Michael Jackson and he is one of the biggest icons in the music industry. So that alone will definitely get people's attention. At least that's just in my opinion there. All right, I think we'll read a few more comments before we go on to the first break. Let's see now. My main concern about this is that it may follow the same music biopic formula that Walk Away and the Weird Al parody film both mocked. That Walk Hard and the Weird Al parody film both mocked. Still going to watch this, by the way. Do you believe that Michael Jackson molested these children? Honestly, I don't know. I just, honestly, throughout my life, I've seen the cycle of the Michael Jackson allegations happen again and again, and it just would continuously go on a loop. Even after his death, it would still keep on going. And honestly, I cannot say 100% for sure if he has or if he hasn't. I think it'll still end up becoming like a full-on mystery at best. But considering the contradictions and how the evidence per se, if Michael Jackson did it, a lot of it is just continuously inconsistent. I'm pretty much leaning on towards most likely not. Like, I am opening to the window of possibility that maybe he has, but there is also, like, based on what we have seen over the years, it's most likely that he probably didn't do it. Let's see now. I will keep Michael on my radar. I remember liking the miniseries The Jacksons, An American Dream, which told about the Jackson 5, but now Michael Jackson gets his own biopic. It will be interesting to see how much of his life story they'll tell. Will it talk about his skin troubles in some of this? Maybe controversies, but we'll see. Honestly, what will be interesting is one thing I am sure about is that they will be talking about his nose. And I know that sounds very weird, but in the life of Michael Jackson, that's always been a major part of his insecurity. He always felt like his nose was just way too massive. And that's why he ended up getting that operation where it ended up becoming a lot more slim. Now, will they get into his medical problems? Will they go and fully discuss about that side of Michael Jackson? Maybe, but like one thing's for sure, they'll talk about the nose, guaranteed. All right, so with that said, though, and by the way, before I continue, I just want to say, considering that we've seen a lot of enthusiasm and so far a lot of people seem to be pretty interested in checking out Michael, then keep in mind that the movie shall be coming out in theaters on April 24th. And with that said, we're going to go on to our first break. And when we do come back, oh boy, do I have a very special surprise for you all. We're going to be taking a break from talking about some animation news, and I will go and discuss about what I have in store with a very anticipated series that shall be coming soon. So stay tuned for that. All right, welcome back. Now, when it comes to our next story, I decided I'm going to do something very special for you all. And in a way, this is to go and make things up a little bit for not having an episode last week. And it's not going to be about discussing on an animation news that happened either in the last week or in the week prior or anything like that. I want to give you all an update on what's going on with me and what I've been working on. And this is especially the case with a project that many fans have been highly anticipating for so long, which is Animation Lookback Blue Sky Studios. Now, as some of you probably recall, or for those of you who do follow me on social media or on YouTube or whatever, then you may have seen that at the end of October, I made a special little video to go and announce that I have officially begun production of Animation Lookback Blue Sky Studios, that I immediately went and got things started on working on part 1 and even doing a little bit of a mapping on how the series is going to be, not just with the first part, but throughout 2026, like with all the parts that are going to be happening and mapping out like what am I going to go and talk about. Now, the big thing that I'm going to do right over here is to go and give you all a little bit of extra information of what's going to be in store with Animation Lookback Blue Sky Studios, including telling you how many parts are there going to be and when can you expect Animation Lookback to go and make its big comeback. Considering that at this point, it's been like, what? A year and a half since the last time I've done anything with Animation Lookback. I mean, I believe the end of Animation Lookback, The Muppets, came out at, I think it was in April. So yeah, it's been quite some time. It's been like about a year and a half. And I know that during that whole time, I've been busy with plenty of other things, with tons of reviews and with several different projects, and that's just like in terms of my videos. This doesn't even count some of the other things that have been happening in my life, like with acting or just in my personal life in general. There's just been so many things that have been going on that has held me back from actually fully getting back into Animation Lookback Blue Sky. But I decided that in 2025, I wanted to go and immediately start on that particular project. Now, I didn't know when, but I knew that there was a point that I wanted... Oh, crap. Hold on. Okay, no, it didn't happen. I thought I was about to sneeze, but it was like, nope, okay, no, we're not doing that. All right, sorry about that. But as I was saying, I knew that in 2025, I wanted to go and immediately start that project. Like somewhere, somehow, I wanted to really get into it. And there were a few other things that I wanted to do. Like I knew I wanted to make another top 10 because it's been so long since I've done that. And I was able to do so with the top 10 funniest animated films, which I'm really happy with. But then after that, that's when I decided, okay, time to get serious and actually work on Animation Lookback Blue Sky Studios. In fact, I think it was like exactly last year that I went to go and purchase, I wish I could have brought it with me here, but it's already in my office, but I did have the book. Like I went and ordered the book of The Art of Blue Sky Studios by Jake S. Friedman. And I will say in my research, when working on the first part of Animation Lookback, that book has been extremely helpful with me. I would even go and dare say that it is possibly the best book out there if you want to learn about the history of Blue Sky Studios. Now, sure, it is not entirely complete because it only goes all the way up to Rio 2, so it doesn't cover anything about the Peanuts movie, Ferdinand, or Spies in Disguise, or anything like that. But still though, what the book has in there, it's a massive wealth of knowledge. I'll even admit that Animation Lookback Blue Sky Studios will partly be an adaptation to that book. That's how great that thing is. So one thing I'll just go and say now, if you guys haven't gotten the book and you're really interested on the subject of Blue Sky Studios, I highly recommend that you go and check that one out if you can. I know it's not easy to go and find, but when you do, it will absolutely be worth it. But anyways, with all that said, though, yes, now I've officially prepared, and now I've been working on it. In fact, I will say, for the past couple of weeks, that's honestly the main thing that I've been doing. I have been working on part 1 of Animation Lookback Blue Sky. Even last week, it was mainly just working on that and doing as much progress as I can on that particular part. Now, as I am working on this, the first part is not done yet. I am still in the middle of the editing process with it, but it is still coming along very, very well. There may still be a few more things that I got to do, like a lot more revisions to make sure everything is tight, everything is perfect, and everything is ready for it to be released. But I am still in the middle of working on it, and again, the production is still going great. But with that said, let me just go and immediately answer some main questions that some of you may have. And I want to start things off by getting this out of the way, because I know some people will go and ask, but I'm just going to say, no, I have no idea what the next Animation Lookback is going to be after that. I mean, as I said, I just started on Animation Lookback Blue Sky, so I have not even thought for a second about what am I going to do afterwards. Let me get into Blue Sky first before I could even consider what's going to be the next subject. So don't go and ask me about that. And now there is one bigger question that I want to go and reveal to you all. How many parts are there going to be in Animation Lookback Blue Sky? In fact, let's go and make a fun little game. Chat wall, I want to go and ask you all, how many parts do you believe is there going to be in total for Animation Lookback Blue Sky? So let me see. Some people are saying 8. Oh, wow. 8, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, wow. So some pretty impressive numbers. I see a lot of 8s, but it can be varying. All right. Well, I'm going to go and say there. Oh, wow. Someone even suggests 3 or 4. Wow. Okay. No, someone does not think that the history of Blue Sky is going to be long. No, but okay. But I am going to say right now, based on my estimation, oh God, so, wow, people are finding an excuse to go with the freaking 6-7 meme. No, okay, no, let's put the 6-7 aside, folks. But I will say, for now, it will probably be more or less 6. That's my estimation so far. There is a possibility that maybe there will be more or maybe there will be less, but I am thinking that maybe there's going to be a total of 6 parts. And yes, this does include the honorable mention, which I'm going to go and say right now because I think it's going to be very easy to go and guess. Yes, the final part will be an honorable mention that is fully dedicated to the history of Nimona. And on top of that, I think I will go and add a few more things there where I think I'll also go and highlight on like the canceled projects of Blue Sky Studios. But I'll get there when I do get there. But I know that the main subject that I will be talking about on the final part will be about Nimona. But yes, I am thinking that I am going to do 6 parts. And maybe there is a possibility that there's going to be so much that I will go and talk about on each of these things or on each of the movies and each of the projects that they have done. There is a possibility that maybe maybe like by the end of it, I'll end up with 7 parts. Or maybe there won't be as much as I thought there would, and then I'll end up with just having just 5 parts in total. But for now, I am doing an estimation where it is most likely going to be just in 6 parts. And the reason why I'm saying that there's no official confirmation if that can actually be the case is mainly because of the fact that when I would when I am working on this, there can be some surprises that I will go and discover, and then it'll cause me to go and shift like which movies I will go and talk about. Like maybe I'll save that for like the second part, or maybe this one will go into the third part, or maybe the fourth part will have like several things to go and discuss. Like it will constantly be changing and shifting, and maybe I'll even be adding. Like, here's a great example. Like when I was working on the first part, I thought I would just go into like, okay, I'll make it a little bit bigger for its comeback. So like I'll talk about like the beginning, and I'll talk about its first 3 movies with Ice Age, Robots, and Ice Age: The Meltdown. But then as I was doing my research and I was looking into what to go and discuss and what facts to go and include onto the first part, I noticed that there was a lot on the animated short Bunny, considering that animated short really was a milestone for Blue Sky Studios, considering that was the key for them to fully get into computer animated features, not to mention that it did win the Oscar for Best Animated Short. So in that regards, even though it wouldn't be as prominent as Ice Age, for example, I decided to go and include a chapter onto Bunny. And I decided, okay, well, in that case, I'll go and shift some things, and I'm not going to go and immediately talk about Ice Age: The Meltdown on the first part. I'll go and delay that to the second part. So that's just an example of what can happen as I am working on Animation Lookback Blue Sky. So a lot of it is just like, I'm making it as I go. And I won't know the full answer of like how many parts are there going to be, how long are they going to be, and stuff like that until I actually go and make them. So nothing is officially set in stone in that regard. Now, with that said, though, all right, so now that we know that there is approximately 6 parts, maybe, but you might be wondering, when is it going to be released? Because I know some people are really hyped up, and some people are really anticipated to know when is it officially going to be coming out. And in that regards, I think I actually do have a clear answer where I could go and say that the first part of Animation Lookback Blue Sky is going to be released on November 28th. So on the week of American Thanksgiving, that's when I'll go and officially have the first part released. However, I will say this is another thing that it's not officially set in stone, because it's either going to be that, or maybe I might go and release it in the first week of December. And I'm not saying that because, oh, maybe by that time, maybe by the end of November, I'll still need more time to go and make it. No. I'll say right now, I am currently pretty comfortable with where I am in production, where I am guaranteed to have this video ready before it officially does come out on its planned release date. But the reason why I'm opening up to the possibility that maybe I would go and delay that by a week is because of the possibility if I would get an early screening of Zootopia 2. Now, I'm just going to go and say right now, the chances of that happening are probably unlikely. It would be like a rare case if that does go and occur. But let's say, hypothetically, if I do get an early screening of Zootopia, where I would go and watch that before its official release on November 26th, and I would have plenty of time to go and work on that review, then that is going to get priority, and that would get released on November 28th. Thus, as a result, Animation Lookback Blue Sky Studios will get delayed to the week after. But again, the chances of that happening are probably unlikely, and worst case scenario, well, if I don't get a screening of Zootopia 2, then I'll go and release Animation Lookback Blue Sky first, and then I'll go and put out the review of Zootopia 2. So yeah, that's pretty much the plan that I have with the release date of the first part. So good news is that I do have a plan A and a plan B, as I am currently working on it, and hopefully I will have it done soon. I mean, for me personally, I feel like the best case scenario is that I'll do my best to go and like really get the editing done and do the most that I can before I even get into my review of In Your Dreams. But there is a chance that maybe that won't happen, and like maybe there'll still be a few more things I'll have to do after I finish that In Your Dreams review. But that's besides the point. Still though, I do have a plan with the release date of it, and I'll even say I do have a little bit of a possible idea of when I can go and release the second part. And I'll say now that after the first, it'll probably take a little bit of time before I go and actually release part 2, especially when there's going to be plenty of reviews that are going to be happening, especially in December. And not to mention, there will be a few other videos that I'll have planned to go and have released, including the top 5 best and worst animated films of 2025. But when it comes to part 2, I am thinking that if things go very well and, I'm able to be efficient in my timing and the holidays don't take too much of my personal time, then maybe I'll have that be released I'll have that released by the end of January, maybe. There is a possibility that maybe it'll be coming out in February instead, but I'm just thinking like very much ahead. Like again, so far I'm working on part 1, make sure I get that done. And then once that is finished, I'll go and consider about what am I going to do with part 2. So there is that. And by the way, there is one more thing that I would like to go and show you. And honestly, this is something that I don't think I'll go and prominently display on YouTube because, well, that might get a little bit of copyright trouble. But even though I'm still in the middle of the editing process, there is a little bit that I can show you of Animation Lookback Blue Sky. Yes, I actually do have a clip to show you a sneak peek of what will be in store with Animation Lookback Blue Sky Studios. And by the way, I did forget to go and mention that maybe some of you might be a bit disappointed to hear, but this is going to be a bit more of a straightforward Animation Lookback. This isn't going to be like the previous ones where it's going to be like, it will have like a special gimmick. Like, with Disney Plus, it had all those animations by Logan, or even with the Muppets that had the Puppet Animat. This one is just going to be more of a simple, straightforward animation look back, like a lot of the previous ones that I've done. But with that said, I do have a special preview to go and show you, and this is going to be based on the beginnings of Blue Sky Studios, and pretty much a highlight of what they have worked on before they fully invested themselves in computer animation and making computer animated films such as Ice Age or Robots or even Bunny. So, without further ado, allow me to go and show you a little sneak peek of Animation Lookback, Blue Sky Studios.
But in the end, that one job was the first step they needed to get their business going.
Best exercise. Works every muscle group.
Get the out of here. You never exercised once in your life.
All right, and that was the preview that I have in store for you. And yes, folks, as I said before, with Animation Lookback Blue Sky Studios, you could go and expect that to go and come out on YouTube on November 28th. Maybe the week after if I get an early screening of Zootopia 2, but for now, it will be set for November 28th. And of course, you could go and check it out before it does come out on YouTube a few days prior if you join my Patreon. All right, so with that said, now it is time. I like to pass this on to the chat wall. And I'm going to go and say that if you guys have any additional questions, if there's anything else you would like to know about Animation Lookback Blue Sky Studios, feel free to go and ask. Like right now, this is just a little Ask Me Anything portion for this part, for this particular subject. So let me know what you guys want to know. Or any additional comments even. Like if you don't have a question or if you just want to go and express a comment, let me know what you guys think. All right, so let's see here. It's been a long time since we've had an animation look back since the Muppets, but I will say, since I've seen the post-credits, I just can't wait to see the next animation look back Blue Sky Studios. It has a fascinating history with its early days and its animated movies. And since it does get released on November 28th or somewhere in December, I will totally be there. And I mean, you know what they say, Blue Sky never dies. Ah, yes, exactly. Need to keep that noted, honestly, for the final part, actually. I think honestly that will be like the big highlight. Blue Sky never dies. Let's see now. What are the comments? As someone who not only loves Blue Sky but also was a credited guy in the Scrap video game, got counted as Blue Sky credit by former members, I am very hyped to see what you are working on with this. Blue Sky has influenced me from when I was a kid to be passionate in film and animation. I hope you cook with this because I want to see a very faithful recap of Blue Sky's history. Also, Scrat Tales, which I may have some info on behind the scenes of that show. Good luck, Animat. Oh, interesting. Actually, I am thinking that in one of the final parts, like not on the last part of it, but I think one of the chapters that I will be talking about, like along with all the movies, I think I will have a part where I will discuss about Scrat Tales, especially when there is that crazy story where at least temporarily Disney did not have the rights to Scrat. So it will be interesting to know how Disney went from losing a court case where they no longer have the rights to Scrat to then suddenly releasing Scrat Tales and then continuing forward with Ice Age Boiling Point. All right, let's see what other comments are there. Are you going to be talking about Scrat Tales? Yes. Well, I just answered that there. Anyways, let's see. I've always been a big fan of Blue Sky and have gone on record saying the Peanuts movie is my favorite animated movie. So with that said, this is something I'm definitely looking forward to. From what I've read in the Peanuts movie art book, the production stories behind these films are really interesting. And just from the clip alone, I've learned a lot of stuff and I didn't know, like with The Sopranos. My one question is, will this discuss the Ice Age projects that released after the shutdown? Okay, well, I guess several people really want to know if I will talk about Scrat Tales. Yes, I will talk about that. However, I don't know if I will be fully getting in. I don't know if I will fully get into. I don't know if I will get into the Disney Plus movie, The Adventures of Buck Wild. I'll think about it and I'll see, like, maybe if there's plenty of things to go and discuss, then I'll consider it. But for now, it's like, I don't know. I think, like, worst case scenario, it will be Scrat Tales and the, I guess you could say, the little Disney Plus era of Ice Age. Let's see now. What other comments would there be? A toast to your next animation look back on Blue Sky Studios, which either that or your Zootopia 2 review might be released on my 26th birthday. Also, can't wait to hear you talk about the Ice Age movies in particular, and to see if Fox's demand of wanting more due to their continued box office success was one of the primary factors to why Blue Sky kept being forced to make them all the way up to 5 with Collision Course. Yeah, that will be interesting to look into. I mean, so far, I'm just going to be talking about the first part I'm going to talk about the first movie in the first part. So I don't know. As I'll continue, it'll be interesting to see, like, what is it that made them, like, keep on going, like making more and more, like with Dawn of the Dinosaurs and then Continental Drift and then Collision Course and then all that kind of stuff. So that will be fascinating. All right, I think I have time for one more comment to go and read. Did I see that? Oh, okay, yes. All right, I'll read this. So, or maybe two. Anyways, when you tease in the end of the last part of the Muppets look back, I didn't get it at first, but then months later, I find out that you got to make a Blue Sky look back. I was like, that's so interesting, despite that they have less movies, and I always wondered what you're going to do with the highlight. Yeah, I want to say, Matt, good luck for your look back series and continue that tradition altogether. Also, I'm sorry to say that, Matt, but yesterday when I was scrolling, I saw, okay. Well, the comment just stopped, unfortunately. But anyways, yeah, well, honestly, I don't mind the length. I mean, it's not going to be the shortest animation look back. I mean, I've made an entire animation look back on the history of the Thief and the Cobbler. So in that regard, I feel like I'm gonna be fine. Like with what Blue Sky has in store, I'm not gonna be too worried about the length of it. Anyways, let's see here. Oh boy, this look back. This is a look back that has been a long time coming. Take your time, Matt, and I hope the production will go as smooth as possible so it can be the best it can be. I am curious, did you watch any and all of their movies for the look back? If so, which? Well, I mean, I'm doing it one step at a time, and I mean, so far, like, would I say that I've seen all of them? I think so, yeah. Well, I mean, like, I've already seen all the Blue Sky movies so far, and yes, like, I will be rewatching them as I am making, like I'm doing the first part. So I've seen Ice Age, I've seen Robots. So that's going to be continuing forward from there. So, all right, I see that you guys are definitely hyped up for Animation Lookback Blue Sky Studios. And once again, just to go and remind you all that the premiere of the first part will be on November 28th on YouTube. Again, that is if I don't get an early screening of Zootopia 2, and I would be able to release an early review of that. All right, so with that said, we're going to go on to our next break, and when we do come back, we will be getting back into the news, and with this one in particular, oh boy, am I excited to see if this can actually happen. It's been, not only has it been a long time since we've had an animation look back, but it's also been a long time since we've had a Muppet movie, so stay tuned for that. Okay, I don't know why it didn't do so automatically, but I just had to go and immediately click that. Anyways, all right, we are back, everybody. And when it comes to our next story, I want to go and talk to you about another podcast, specifically La Culturistas, which is Matt Rogers and Bowen Yang's podcast. And the reason why I want to go and talk about that one is mainly because recently they poured out an episode specifically called, and by the way, that's the name of the title. I do apologize for swearing, but I'm just reading what it says. They released an episode called Motherfucker, You're About to Die, featuring Jennifer Lawrence. And this is just a casual podcast where they would go and have a chat with whichever guest would go and come in. And in this case, they brought in Jennifer Lawrence, who was mainly there to go and promote her new movie, Die My Love. And from there, they would go and talk about their experience in the entertainment industry and how Jennifer Lawrence is, is traveling through her career, how she's been doing as a mother, how she's been doing with new projects, with new movies, and all that kind of stuff. But then there was one particular moment where Jennifer Lawrence decided to go and spill the beans on a new particular movie that she has been working on. And instead of immediately telling you about it, I'm going to go and let Jennifer herself speak. What is it that she's been working on? So allow me to go and present to you here.
I don't know if I can announce this.
This is it.
Emma Stone and I are producing a Miss Piggy movie, and Cole is writing it. So
I'm speechless. I don't know what to say. Did we get the exclusive?
I think so.
Watch when they're going to be well, you can't. You have to cut it. Please, don't cut it.
I don't think we... Fuck it.
You can if you want. It's ultimately up to you.
I don't think
So
I'm
you and Emma are going to be in it too?
I think so.
Yeah. We have to.
Yeah, we have to.
You guys haven't done a movie together, and that's robbery to us.
It's fucked up. It's like really dark.
What about those rumors that you guys were doing Death Book?
All right, so that's pretty much the big thing that they have revealed. I will say that I thought I put it up at the right place, but I guess with the ads, they could be pretty wonky, and sometimes they'll switch it up where they'll shift the time and stuff like that. I don't know. Maybe it's the player's fault, because I swear, I thought I placed it at the perfect moment where it was exactly where Jennifer Lawrence would go and immediately reveal this. But yes, folks, Jennifer Lawrence has spilled the beans that there is going to be a Miss Piggy movie. And not only that, but she is also collaborating on this with Emma Stone and Cole Escola. Specifically, as she has stated, Jennifer Lawrence and Emma Stone are going to be producers on this, and maybe they'll also be starring in the movie, but it's not 100% confirmed. And Cole Escola is going to be brought in order to go and write the screenplay of the feature. In fact, let me go and actually read you specifically what is said here, reading from my source on Variety. As it says right over here, a film about the temperamental diva puppet is in early development at Disney, which owns the rights to the Muppets, according to knowledgeable sources. The iconic character, who first appeared on Jim Henson's The Muppet Show in the 70s, has never been the subject of a feature film. Lawrence and Stone will serve as producers, with Escola, a Tony winner for their hit Broadway play Oh Mary, set to write the screenplay. Now, it is worth noting, by the way, that some people are saying that this is not 100% confirmed. Like, it's not necessarily something if it can be considered fully true. In fact, one of the first people, or one of the first websites to go and immediately break the story, which is one of the biggest sources for Muppet News, Tough Pigs, they would go and say that this is just a rumor, that not everything is 100% complete, or not complete, but they would go and say that they're unsure if this would actually be considered true. But then you get all these sources, such as Variety, Deadline, The Hollywood Reporter. When they would go and talk about it, they stated that according to their sources, that it looks like this is indeed happening, and that this Miss Piggy movie is in early development. And on top of what we have just heard in the La Culturistas podcast, there was a moment where Jennifer Lawrence, she would also go and promote her movie Die My Love by appearing in The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, where they had a little bit of a chat. Oh, excuse me, folks. I don't know where the fridge that came from. But yes, they had a bit of a chat of what specifically is going to be happening in there. And let me just go and read you right over here, where it states, Lawrence expanded on the genesis of the film during a Tonight Show appearance on Wednesday, telling Jimmy Fallon that her friend thought of the idea during the pandemic lockdowns and at the height of the so-called cancel culture. She said, Miss Piggy is a feminist icon. It would be funny if Miss Piggy got canceled. Now, this is not the plot necessarily, but it got the wheels turning. And so far, that's all that we really know about. It's the fact that Disney is currently in the early stages of a Miss Piggy movie. And on top of that, we got big name stars like Jennifer Lawrence, Emma Stone, and Escola working on the feature, whether it be as a producer or even as a writer. And I just want to go and state right here that as a lifelong Muppet fan, I was honestly very surprised to hear that this is even happening in the first place. That not only is Disney preparing another Muppet movie and not just a project that's just going to be released on Disney Plus, like what we have recently seen with stuff like Muppets Now, Muppets on the Mansion, Muppets Mayhem and stuff like that, but that this in particular is actually going to be a straight up movie. Now, granted, there is a likelihood that maybe it'll just be released on Disney Plus, or maybe it'll be released on the big screen, but either way, we're still in the very early we're still in the very early stages of the development of this movie. And maybe there is a likelihood that maybe it won't even happen in the first place. But still, though, the fact that they're even bringing this up, the fact that they're that they're even like taking action on making a Miss Piggy movie, that for me felt like a bit of a shock and kind of unexpected. But I will say, as surprising as this announcement is, it's honestly one of those things that the more I think about it, the more that I feel like it's not just a no-brainer, but this is a project that we should have had yesterday. This is something that we should have already gotten. Like, this feels like a project that Jim Henson should have made back when he was still alive. Or at the very least, we should have had a Miss Piggy movie when Frank Oz was still performing as her. Like, I feel like it's one of those that's like, how come we haven't thought of this before? And I know some people might go and argue that technically we've had some very prominent Miss Piggy projects before. Some could go and argue that maybe with The Great Muppet Caper is kind of a Miss Piggy movie, considering that she is one of the main stars and one of the main subjects. But then again, like, it does constantly shift to it shifts from Miss Piggy's story, and then we get the trio of Kermit, Fozzie, and Gonzo going in their little investigation. So maybe that doesn't necessarily count. And I know that there was also a Miss Piggy TV special that was all dedicated to her. But then again, that was more like a typical Muppet special where we do see behind the scenes, like, even though Miss Piggy really took center stage, often it would go and cut to the Muppets that were working backstage in order to make the TV special go smoothly, which, of course, with the Muppets, it doesn't do so. But still, like, as I was saying, we've had projects before where Miss Piggy was very prominent, that she was one of the main characters, but we never really had anything where it's just Miss Piggy. And that's mainly because it's only very recently that the Muppets decided that they want to go and actually make their own separate projects or make their own spin-off projects where it would just be certain Muppets and not all the Muppets altogether, which we have recently seen with Muppets Mayhem on Disney Plus. And I will say that, yes, I do understand that maybe it's not the best thing to come out of the Muppets, and it's not necessarily a great show, especially when you have the human actors that, honestly, they suck. Like, the human characters, like with Lily Singh and stuff like that, they are not present. Well, yes, they are present, but they're not pleasant to watch. They're not great characters. They're often mean-spirited. They're not well-written. They're just all around bad. And they really did put in a damper onto Muppets Mayhem. But does that mean that the Muppets Mayhem in general suck? In my opinion, absolutely not. Because what really saves it is the Electric Mayhem themselves. Yes, you don't see any of the other main Muppets, and at the most, you get a cameo from Statler and Waldorf in the final episode, but still, the Electric Mayhem, they were fantastic. Like, when it comes to their personalities, when it comes to their story arcs, when it comes to the plots that revolve around them, especially with their quest on trying to create their first album, that right there is great. And there are even times where it's not just hilarious, but it can also get like very touching, very emotional at times. So honestly, what they have crafted specifically with those Muppets is fantastic. And at the very least, it does give it a decent start to the concept of having this Muppet universe where you can have these individual projects that only star a certain Muppet or certain Muppets instead of having all of them together to go and cause chaos. And I feel like with this project in particular, I feel like it's kind of one of those where it's just about Miss Piggy, or maybe I could totally be wrong, and maybe we will see appearances from a lot of the other Muppets as well, like with Kermit, Fozzie, Gonzo, and the rest of the gang. But if this would just be about Miss Piggy, honestly, I would absolutely be on board with it. And not to mention, like, what's also fantastic about it is the fact that we got some major prominent stars, like the fact that we got Emma Stone and Jennifer Lawrence, like very talented and multi-Oscar winning actresses who are going to be working on this project and being producers on this. Like, already you could tell that it's going to be in good hands. And not to mention, if there's one person that really does give me great confidence that they will take care of this project and they will make something phenomenal out of it, is honestly Cole Escola, considering that they are fresh out of their massive Broadway smash hit with Oh Mary, and not to mention, since, well, technically it was already mentioned that they actually won a Tony Award, and I think Cole actually made history being the first non-binary actor to go and win a Tony Award for, I think specifically for that category, or maybe in general. You could go and correct me if I'm wrong on that. But still, though, Cole Escola has already proven that they have what it takes to go and create a project like Miss Piggy. That, I think like with Oh Mary alone, that already has proven that they could go and take like a temperamental diva character like Miss Piggy, and they can go and create something amazing out of it. So already, even with the script, they are in great hands. So I will say, overall, as a Muppet fan, of course I am absolutely excited to hear that we may get another Muppet movie in the future. But this is one of those cases that the more I look at this, the more that I read into the idea about a Miss Piggy movie, and that you're getting people like Cole Escola, Jennifer Lawrence, and Emma Stone working on this. This has a lot of amazing potential to be a real winner here. Like, unironically making a great movie out of this. And I don't know if this is going to be something that will actually go far into the production, but I really do hope that Disney will allow this project to happen. I mean, worst case scenario, or best case scenario, if there is going to be some progress onto the project, then we'll probably get to hear more about it in next year's D23, where they will go and discuss about like many of their upcoming movies, and they'll probably talk about what they'll have in store with that Miss Piggy movie. And I do hope that it will go and occur. So honestly, I just want to say that yes, I am all in support to see this movie actually happen. Not just because we're getting another Muppet movie, but this actually has what it takes to be a great Muppet movie. And that, and already with the people involved, I can trust that they will greatly expand Miss Piggy as a character, and that they'll really make the most out of creating a picture that is all dedicated to Miss Piggy. All right, so with that said, now it is time I like to pass this on to the chat wall, and I'd like to ask you all, how do you feel about the Miss Piggy movie? Are you guys excited to think about the possibilities of what this would entail? Are you guys hyped up to see a Miss Piggy movie? Are you hesitant if this is going to be made in the first place? Let me know your opinions about this. All right, so this definitely has a lot of potential. Miss Piggy is without a doubt one of the most important Muppets, so I feel like it's about time she got her own movie. Honestly, I could definitely see how she can handle Miss Piggy, or how they can handle Miss Piggy as a character with her personality and give her center stage. Not to mention, it's nice to see Disney is still willing to do things with the Muppets after they close Muppet Vision 3D. So this could have potential. Also, on a side note, it's officially announced that we're getting a trailer for and the comment stopped. All right. Anyways, would Frank Oz still be available to voice Miss Piggy for the project? I don't think so. I mean, like, Eric Jacobson is already doing a great job playing as Miss Piggy. I don't think they'll be bringing back Frank Oz for this. I mean, at the most, maybe they'll have him as a cameo, but or you know what? It would actually be a great idea. Like, I doubt if Frank Oz will go and voice Miss Piggy, but if they could bring in Frank Oz to be like a consultant on this, that would make it so much better. I hope they actually go and do that. Like, get Frank Oz actually involved in it to make sure that it can get his approval. And if Frank Oz would approve of this movie, then I think we're going to be golden. Let's see now. Oh, the Mario Galaxy movie is coming out this week. Oh, okay. Well, in that case, I think we know what we shall be talking about next week then. Anyways, let's see now. I'm a pretty big fan of the Muppets. She's one of my top 3 Muppets behind Rolf and Gonzo. So to see this in development, I am hyped, but not 100%. And yeah, this is because I was underwhelmed by Muppets Mayhem, but this does put the focus purely on Miss Piggy and maybe Uncle Deadly. But if this does put the focus purely on Miss Piggy and maybe Uncle Deadly, I'm all for it. And hey, as long as it puts us closer to the Rolf spinoff. But I will admit, I rushed this comment because I was distracted since, look at the Nintendo news, doesn't matter what channel. You know what? Okay, yeah, I think I know what you mean. Let's see. I'll just write down Mario Galaxy and I'll just see what pops up. Like, just see the news that, let's see. Okay. So far what I got here is just, the Yoshi. Okay. Like, the most we got is just the Yoshi leak. I don't know if this is specifically what you mean. Hold on. Mario Galaxy movie, maybe, or is it just, yeah, like, so far from what I can gather, at least with what it's giving me, it's just that. It's just the leak with the cookie. But yeah, let's see. Is there anything else? Super Mario? No, it's not that. Anyways, okay, maybe I'm just getting a little bit distracted here. Sorry about that, folks. Okay. Or maybe that's the reason why they're about to release the trailer, is because of that leak with the cookie, where we do see what Yoshi is going to look like in that trailer. Not to mention that they did tease that Baby Bowser is going to be making an appearance. Anyways, where was I? Anyways, right over here. This concept of a Miss Piggy movie is kind of interesting. 2026 alone, to have the Muppets, like the new special of The Muppet Show, This News, Muppet Christmas Carol getting a re-release in London, even that Muppet Broadway show called Rob Lake Magic with special guest The Muppets in New York, next year is going to light the lights. Yeah, you know what is nice, honestly? Like, it is tragic that we did lose Muppet Vision 3D, or at least we did lose it temporarily, hopefully. But still, though, there's been, like, the Muppets have been in a lot of action lately, especially, like, with their Broadway debut, the announcement of this project, And not to mention, like, and also like with the new info of what we got with the Rock and Roller Coaster featuring the Electric Mayhem. So yeah, like we got all of that going on. So it's been 2025. It's been a crazy time for the Muppets. I can tell you that they've been having a hell of a 70th anniversary. Let's see. Anyways, let's get back over here. I think this Miss Piggy movie will be made simply because of one thing, Barbie. The success of the Barbie movie tells me that an executive might be interested in the over-the-top girly feminist comedy movie. However, I feel like Disney is still too cowardly to make the movie a theatrical release and might make it a Disney Plus exclusive. You could be right, but I think that's going to be more of a wait and see factor. Like, there's no official confirmation if the Miss Piggy movie is just going to be Disney's Barbie movie, but well, like, honestly, let's just wait until we get more info, if there will be more info to come, and then we could go and determine what the intentions of this are going to be. Let's see. Or it's look up. Oh, wait, go back up. Actually, hold on. I'll go and check again. Let's see. Mario Galaxy trailer. Okay, fine. Let's see. Do we have any additional info or let's see. Oh, there's going to be a direct. Oh, schnut. There's going to be a direct on Wednesday. Oh, this just got interesting. Oh, and we even got like a little, like a new poster. Okay, I see. Oh, all right. I get what you're going. I get where you're going with this. So it's not just a trailer. We're getting a straight up direct of it. All right. I see where you're going at, folks. All right. Anyways, I'll go and read one more comment and then we're going to go on to our next break. Anyways, I thought The Great Muppet Caper was enough for them to make a great Miss Piggy movie to begin with, but this is not to say I ain't anticipating to see this happen. Man, anticipation is really happening a lot in this. I can see a lot of potential for Miss Piggy to give an impact, and knowing her, she'll show for a lot of beauty and comedy, and I think Frank Oz would be a cool idea to bring over. I have another idea for him. Make him play a character like Miss Piggy's father or something like that. That could be an idea, honestly. Like, either be like Miss Piggy's father figure or be Miss Piggy's farmer or something like that. I don't know. But either way, like, have Frank Oz involved. But overall, this is pretty much to go and say that please, Disney, actually make this Miss Piggy movie happen, because honestly, the more I think about it, the more that, honestly, it's not just that I want this as a Muppet fan, but also this has the potential to be a fantastic movie. All right, so with that said, we're going to go on to our next break. And when we do come back, we're going to get some updates on some new movies that will be coming from Korea. And no, it's not specifically K-pop Demon Hunters, but there is one movie that's going to be kind of like that. And the return of a douchebag squirrel. So stay tuned for that. All right, welcome back. Now, for our next story, we're going to be going to South Korea, in which they actually have their own batch of animated films that they are excited to go and present. Now, with these, I feel like they are worth mentioning and worth discussing over here, mainly because they got some particular projects that feel very interesting, including the unexpected return of a familiar name that we haven't heard in a long time. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at RedRover with what they have in store. Now, for those of you who don't know, RedRover is a prominent computer animation studio in South Korea. And recently at I believe the event is called AFM. Yes, at AFM, they have actually revealed that they got 3 particular projects in production that they are ready to go and have released. Well, okay, they're not ready, but they are working on it so that they can be released in the near future. The first one that I want to go and highlight, and I believe this is the picture in which the movie is from, is going to be called Mega Racer, in which this article on Variety, it doesn't really explain a whole lot about what it is, but it says here that Mega Racer takes place during a rare celestial event that occurs once every 8 years, when competing racers travel through time and space, chasing glory and mysterious powers, in which that one will be released first, considering that right now it is actually in post-production. But another project that they have that they are very much anticipating for is actually something called Rainmakers, to which they describe that as a K-pop driven movie. So essentially a very prominent theme of that will be K-pop. And I believe they are going to go and make this as a musical with new K-pop songs. But they are hoping that with the big trend of K-pop going on, considering that it's now becoming globally popular, they are hoping that with Rainmakers, they could get into that K-pop action. And to go and describe what this is about, reading from my source here on Variety, and by the way, it is also worth noting that Rainmakers will be brought to us by Korean filmmaker Lee Seok-hun, in which it says here, Lee's Rainmakers centers on unlikely allies, an orphan and a princess who join forces with outcasts to take down a corporate threat to their world. Music plays a central role in the story, with K-pop's aesthetic and energy woven throughout the film's narrative and visual design. Planet Nero serves as the backdrop for the action-adventure, which will include original songs from an unnamed K-pop producer. We also got a quote here that I would like to go and read you here, coming from the strategy executive and producer at RedRover, Amy Shi, in which she says here, as Korean culture and K-pop in particular continues to grow and be celebrated globally, we are thrilled to bring a bold music-driven animated feature to life under the visionary direction of Lee Seok-hun. With RedRover's deep understanding of global kids and family entertainment, Rainmakers combines the dynamic energy of K-pop with cinematic storytelling to create a vibrant new world we can't wait to share with audiences everywhere. But that's not the only thing that they are going to be working on. Oh, actually, before I continue, let me go and read you here what Lee himself has to go and say, in which he states here, this is an incredible opportunity to collaborate with one of Korea's leading animation studios. Animation has always fascinated me. It allows you to create entire worlds beyond what's possible in live action. With RedRover, a studio that truly understands global family storytelling, I'm confident we'll deliver a world-class production that connects with audiences everywhere. But if that doesn't capture your attention enough, maybe there is one name in particular, a franchise that RedRover has done that they decided needs to make a comeback. Does the name The Nut Job sound familiar to you? Well, believe it or not, it's gonna be coming back, and there will be a third movie that shall be coming soon. Now, it is worth noting, by the way, that not all of these none of these movies have an official release date yet. We don't know when they're going to be released, let alone be released outside of Korea. But when it comes to The Nut Job 3, they're still well in production, so much so that we even have a synopsis of what this is going to be about, in which it actually says right over here, that the third Nut Job film will feature franchise regulars alongside new characters, following Surly's daughter Hazel on a journey that tests the father-daughter bond while old nemesis Raccoon seeks payback. So that's pretty much what we know so far with these projects, with Mega Racers, Rainmakers, and The Nut Job 3. Now, I will go and say that I don't necessarily have a lot to go and comment on Mega Racers. We only know like a simple premise of it. And again, maybe there's a likelihood that it will be globally distributed, or maybe it'll just be released in Korea. We'll just wait and see on that. But it is interesting to see them talk about Rainmakers, considering that with this article in particular, the grand majority, or even more than half, of what they have talked about here is just on Rainmakers, and really hyping up that they got Lee Seok-hoon working on it, being both the writer and the director of this, and really emphasizing that they are making their own K-pop movie. And I mean, it's no surprise that, yeah, now we got a Korean studio that wants to go and make their own K-pop animated movie, especially after the massive success of what Netflix has released during the summer with their own animated feature that became a global phenomenon. And you know what I'm talking about, folks. The Twix. Nah, I'm just kidding. Of course it's K-pop Demon Hunters. And I mean, it's very interesting because I remember it's, I don't know if it was just a few weeks ago, but during the height of K-pop Demon Hunters popularity, I have seen some people discussing about what is going to be the impact of K-pop Demon Hunters. I mean, right now, K-pop Demon Hunters has already broken so many records and is already Netflix's biggest movie that they have ever released. Not just in terms of animated films, but just movies in general. K-pop Demon Hunters is now the #1 biggest movie in the platform's history. And with a big impact and with the kind of success that it had, you can imagine that people are going to be discussing about how are we going to see the influence of K-pop Demon Hunters affect animation? How is it going to change things up in the animation game? Because with the kind of when groundbreaking movies come out, of course, we're going to see major influences that will go and follow suit. Like in the 1990s, after Disney would go and release films like The Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast, suddenly all animated films tried to be animated musicals and put on their own Broadway production. Or even just recently, after the release of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, suddenly we see a lot more animated movies that try to emulate that style, but try to put a little bit of a spin into it, rather it be with stuff like Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, or even Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutant Mayhem, and even like with different varieties of how they can make stylized animation. Woo, excuse me, folks. All right, there we go. Just needed to clear my throat there. But also, but as I was saying, giving out the idea of what they can do in order to expand the idea of having stylized animation that doesn't look like your typical computer animated feature. Rather it be with movies like The Mitchells vs. the Machines, or Wish, or several other animated films out there. Right now, we are seeing the big craze of the influence of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and maybe we will see a similar kind of influence from K-pop Demon Hunters. But how that influence is going to be impacted, that I don't know. But it is safe to say that with this project, or The Bad Guys, someone even brought up another good example. And yes, even with another aspect in terms of K-pop Demon Hunters is that just recently it was revealed that now K-pop Demon Hunters actually did get a few Grammy nominations, including Golden being nominated for Song of the Year. Now, is it actually going to win that? I don't know. I doubt it, honestly, but we'll wait and see. But it's very interesting to see that now we're getting another animated movie that is influenced by K-pop. And I know there are some people who might pass off Rainmakers as a ripoff of K-pop Demon Hunters and stuff like that. But then again, you could go and argue that, well, this is going to be a project made in Korea by a Korean filmmaker in a Korean animation studio. They kind of get a pass because they are in the country where K-pop does come from. Hold on a sec. Son of a fish. What the fridge is going on? Anyways, Sorry about that. But as I was saying, as you can see here, of course, like with the fact that this is like entirely a Korean movie, of course, they want to get their hands on making a K-pop themed feature. Now, is Rainmakers going to, will Rainmakers reach the same height of popularity as K-pop Demon Hunters? I highly doubt that, but you know, it is a prominent example to see that kind of influence. And maybe in the future, we will see more of that, where maybe we'll have more animated features that's going to be set in Korea and highlight Korean myths and Korean culture. Or maybe we will hear in the soundtrack a lot more K-pop songs that, you know, we'll see animation studios hire K-pop groups like to provide like some new singles for their animated project, like regardless if it would be related to K-pop or Korean culture or anything, or even if it wouldn't be. Like maybe we will hear more K-pop in animation because of the success of K-pop Demon Hunters. But all this to go and highlight that Rainmakers is definitely a prominent example of the influence of K-pop Demon Hunters. I mean, you cannot tell me that, you know, the existence of Rainmakers was not because of the Netflix and Sony movie. But then there is the Nut Job 3. The fact that, like, I know that technically this is not the first time that we have heard that a third Nut Job movie might be in production, but this is a confirmation that this really is happening. And I'm just there like, why? Why are we getting another one in the first place? Why is it that suddenly we need a third movie? Why do we need to turn the Nut Job into a godforsaken trilogy? I'll even say that I barely remember a single thing that came from the Nut Job 2. I even forgot, when did it even come out in the first place? All I remembered was that I guess it was kind of better than the first movie. I didn't hate it as much as the first, and there was this Jackie Chan mouse, but that's it. That's all that I could go and recall from that. 2017. Honestly, I was thinking maybe it was like 2018 or maybe 2019 or something like that. I know it was before the pandemic, but yeah, 2017. Okay. All right, I see. I gotcha. But still, though, I barely remember much about the second. But that first movie, though, oh, man. Okay, I will say it's not the worst animated film out there. That is true. And I mean, like, I will give it, the animation in that film is decent. It's not great, but I mean, it's not bad either. But, my God, I did not like that movie whatsoever, especially with how mean-spirited the movie is. And that is especially with the main character, Surly. I hate that stupid squirrel. And I know hate is a very strong word, but in this case here, I despise Surly in that first movie. Like, he really is just this very mean-spirited, self-centered douchebag squirrel that the only way that freaking Will Arnett squirrel would make me the only way that he could make me happy is if he would become roadkill. Like that, honestly, with the kind of attitude that he presented throughout that feature, that's what he freaking deserves. And the fact that now we're getting more nut jobs, well, like, it's not enough that we got a second. Now they got to bring in a third. And not to mention, there's now they brought up this plot line that, like, now Surly has a daughter, which apparently is the unfortunate confirmation that Surly had sex. So, yeah, now he's multiplying. So, brace yourselves, folks. It's going to be frightening. And then on top of that, they're saying that they're bringing back his old nemesis Raccoon. And honestly, I completely forgot that there was this angry raccoon that was the villain in either the first or the second or whatever. I think he was voiced by Liam Neeson or something. You could correct me if I'm wrong on that, but still though, I forgot that there was this antagonistic raccoon in one of the movies. But still though, it's just like, it's one of those that I see as like, why, man? You got, like, do you really have to yeah, okay, so it is played by Liam Neeson. All right, so I wasn't imagining things. But you really, we got to bring that, we really have to bring back the nut job too. Or we got to bring back the nut job. We got to have a third movie. Who did anybody ask for this? Was there that much of a high demand? Like, I want to know, how popular is the nut job in South Korea? Like, is it that much of a prominent franchise, and it has that much of an audience where people are out there demanding for another one? Is it freaking Mr. Code? Is it Stefan, who took a plane to go to freaking South Korea, went to RedRover, and he's like, guys, the nut job, we need more. I need more Surly. Bring me more Surly. I'm sure you got an idea with Surly. I don't know who the fridge is demanding it. I don't know where the nut job's main audience is. But I don't know where the fridge. I know. Yes, I mean, yes, me and Mr. Code, we are cool. I'm just joking around, by the way. Don't worry. You know, there's no hate. I'm just doing a gag, by the way. Just letting you know right now. But still, though, it's just with godforsaken, you know, why? It's just hearing that name is going to come back. It's just, no, please. Oh, good God. Yeah, so honestly, I just thought I would have to go and make a comment on this. And it is, it is interesting that we're seeing another K-pop animated movie that's going to be coming soon and straight from South Korea. But then there's also the Nut Job 3, and it's like, oh God, please. If there's one thing that could stay in Korea, it's godforsaken. Keep Surly in Korea, please. I don't want any more Will Arnett Squirrel. I don't want to experience that again, please. All right, but anyways, now I'm going to go and pass this on to the chat wall, and I want to ask you all, how do you feel about RedRover's upcoming projects, whether it be Mega Racers, Rainmakers, or the Nut Job 3? I would love to know your thoughts on this. All right, so let's see. Someone even brought up that the Angry Birds Movie 3 will also have a daughter of Red. Oh, thank you for giving us the information that Red also had sex as well. That will be a hell of a traumatic image right there. All right. Do we have any other cartoon characters that we need to know had sex and that they have reproduced? Do we need that additional knowledge? All right. Anyways, let's see. Well, from everything that's been announced today, this is finally something that's not anticipating. Now, I haven't seen the movies except for clips of the second. That doesn't count. But I just took your word from your review saying they're both bad in their own right. However, there is a chance this could be better. They did improve their mistakes on the second, but not enough to make it good. So third time's the charm. Hey, what I said is a chance. I wasn't saying it's going to be good. You could be right. I'm just letting you know right now. There is definitely that possibility that maybe the Nut Job 3 could come out, and it could shock me that it could actually turn out to be enjoyable and maybe even good. I know there is that likelihood, but the chances of that, in my opinion, are relatively small. So in that case, nah. Honestly, I'm still not hyped up for the. Honestly, I am dreading it, but I know there is that chance, but it's very unlikely. I'm just gonna say that. All right. Let's see. Mega Racer and Rainmakers might sound cheesy, but they could still be fun to watch. The problem is the Nut Job 3, which sounds like a terrible, terrible, terrible idea, considering how previous films turned out to be. Also, would that really be considered as a South Korean film? My understanding is that the Nut Job films were made by studios from different countries, including South Korea's RedRover. And to answer your question, I doubt that series is popular in South Korea either. Well, okay, I know that with the Nut Job, technically you are correct. There are multiple studios from different countries that did make it. Like, it is also partly Canadian. But I do believe that the main studio that did work on the Nut Job is in Korea, I believe. But, like, I know that Korea had, like, a major influence in producing the Nut Job movies. But, again, like, you do bring up a good point that yes, I know the Nut Job was made in several different countries, not just Korea, but also like in Canada and stuff like that. Let's see what else. All right. At this point, more unnecessary sequels are going to come out either out of nowhere or to be revealed for a while, like Ice Age 6 Boiling Point, The Angry Birds Movie 3, Toy Story 5, and now the Nut Job 3. Sure, there's some cool sequels coming soon, but for the most part, that's the movie sequel business for you, Animat. Yeah, exactly. No matter, it doesn't matter, like, if you love it or hate it, if it's popular or not. If Hollywood wants to make a sequel out of it, they'll just do it. If the Nut Job can get a whole trilogy, any movie can. All right. Let's see. I hated the first Nut Job with Surly being an unlikable douchebag, an annoying Brendan Fraser squirrel that has wasted his talent, and a very generic plot. Oh my God, you made me. Oh yeah, that is true. That was during a time when like Brendan Fraser was kind of like at a down point. It's like, yeah, oh man. I mean, I love Brendan Fraser right now, and I'm really happy to see that he is making a great comeback. And yes, I did hear that apparently they're making a fourth Mummy movie with Brendan Fraser returning as the main character. But yeah, I did forget that like a decade ago, there was a point when Brendan Fraser, he was doing some pretty bad performances in animated movies, like not just with the Nut Job, but also with Escape from Planet Earth. Oof. That, I don't know. It's just something about that. It just triggered like, oh yeah, that did happen. I'm very glad that Brendan Fraser is doing much better right now. Anyways, the second one was better and tried to fix the mistakes, but it still had a generic save the park plot. And yet I'm glad Mr. Code gets to have his third Nut Job film. Exactly. So yeah, Stefan just went and grabbed that. I think that's probably what happened. Stefan just grabbed a freaking monkey's paw and wished for a third Nut Job movie, and look what happened. Again, only joking around, man. Me and Stefan are still cool. Let's see now. I'll say I don't have much to say about these announcements. The only one I have a bit to say is regarding the Nut Job 3. I haven't seen the other two movies, and it boggles my mind that they would make a third one. Nobody asked for it. The only thing I know about the first movie is that it featured Gangnam Style. Also, I would like to point out that there was a live show based on the Nut Job. You know, honestly, there has always been a part of me that is so interested in actually making a video about that live show. Because the thing is that I think it only had like, I don't know how many performances, but I think it had like one performance in my neck of the woods in Montreal, and that's it. And I'm wondering if there was anyone out there who actually filmed that entire show just to see like how it went. Honestly, I'm very curious. That would be, you know, for those of you Lost Media hunters out there, that would be one thing I would be very interested to know if it does exist. I want to know if someone has recorded the live Nut Job show and that it's out there on the internet. I'm very curious. All right. I think I'll read one more comment here. Let's see. This is so random that they made another sequel of the Nut Job, despite that the last movie was almost a decade ago. Matt, I'm sorry to say this. this is much worse, but I heard on Instagram that they're making some kind of 5th Hotel Transylvania movie. Don't be mad at me, man. Just don't be depressed. God bless you. I don't know if it really is a 5th Hotel Transylvania film. From what I've gathered, isn't it like, I don't know if it really is that, or like maybe they're just announcing progress on that Motel Transylvania series. You could go and correct me if I'm wrong on that. I don't think they're doing a 5th Hotel would they? Sony wouldn't be dumb enough to go and do that. I don't know. Like I think it's at the point where even Hotel Transylvania fans are demanding for Sony to just stop that. Okay, it is the Netflix series. Okay, so it is that. All right, it's just Motel Transylvania. Still very unnecessary, and still like, who the fridge is asking for another Hotel Transylvania series, but still, like, at least it's not a 5th movie. All right, but anyways, with all that said, we're going to go on to our final break, and when we do come back, we got a grand finale to look into. But with this story, it will sound like I'm just repeating myself in terms of what happened last year, but I can assure you, this company made the exact same mistake as they did last year, and oh man, things have gotten so much worse with it. So stay tuned for some corporate calamity. And now, everyone, it is time that we will go and conclude this episode off with the grand finale. And for this grand finale, we will be talking about, as I've insinuated before, some corporate calamity. Yes, there is a corporation out there that is currently in some serious trouble and has gotten some major backlash from the public. Now, before I get into it, there is a little bit of an honorable mention that I do want to talk about, and that is in regards to Funko. Yes, the creators of Funko Pop, in which they have revealed that they are in critical debt. So much so that they have even mentioned that there is a very strong possibility that they will not survive the next year. So there is a chance that maybe in 2026, we will see not just the downfall, but the doom, or maybe not the doom, that's a weird word, but the demise of Funko Pops. So just to go and let you know on that. But we're not here to go and talk about Funko or Funko Pops. We're here to talk about another company in which their business hasn't been doing so great, especially when they have gotten backlash over their new commercial. So before we get into what the controversy is, let's go and actually show you Coca-Cola's new holiday commercial. And that was the Coca-Cola commercial, or the holiday Coca-Cola commercial of this year. And if it wasn't obvious by watching it, well, of course, it's not obvious for you listeners, considering that you just hear the jingle of holidays are coming, but this commercial was done with AI. And because of the use of AI in here, and that, well, it is pretty obvious if you would go and watch this, which, by the way, just a quick side note, I believe this wasn't the only commercial that they have done this year. They've actually done 2 holiday commercials. I haven't gotten access on the second one. This is the one that most people have seen and that they have talked about. But as you can imagine, because this commercial used AI, this has gotten serious backlash from the public. Even the YouTube video that I have over here, you could see the results in which it may have gotten 4,300 likes, but in comparison, it also got 58,000 dislikes. So this is pretty much bashed by the public. There's even one comment that I see over here in which someone stated, Pepsi, for God's sakes, you have everything on a silver platter. Make an ad mocking Coca-Cola for this. Oh, that would be amazing if they would go and do so. So as you can imagine, yes, Coca-Cola is definitely getting backlash for their use of AI on their Christmas commercial or their holiday commercial. Now, at this point, though, you might be wondering, now, Matt, are you sure that this happened this year? Because this actually sounds an awful lot like what actually happened last year when Coca-Cola released a holiday commercial and it was AI generated and people were hating so much on it, and it got Coca-Cola a lot of backlash and put them into some serious controversy. Are you sure you're not repeating yourself? Are you sure you didn't do your research well and didn't check if that was actually from last year? Are you sure? Now, the thing is that, yes, I do understand why this all sounds like I'm just repeating myself in terms of what happened last year. But here's the crazy part of this entire story, is that despite the fact that this all sounds like this just happened last year, it also happened this year. No joke, Coca-Cola just saw all the controversy and backlash and the hate that they got at that time, and they thought to themselves, yeah, let's go and do that again. And not only did they do that again, but now they're putting in extra work on trying to justify themselves, like really doubling down on their use of it, saying that, no, this is good. We're doing great with it. I'm sure there are some people who will love it. Not everyone's going to enjoy it, but, some do, this is great and all. And even at that, they're even making excuses for themselves. I'm just going to go and read you this passage over here, in which this is specifically coming from the global VP and head of generative AI at Coca-Cola, Pratik Thakar, in which he states, last year, people criticized the craftsmanship, but this year, the craftsmanship is 10 times better. There will be people who criticize. We cannot keep everyone 100% happy, but if the majority of consumers see it in a positive way, it's worth going forward. And on top of that, might as well go and also read this passage to give you context of what's been going on, in which it says here, on Monday, Coke is trying again, releasing a new generative AI holiday ad with the globe trucking concept. Once more, the company has hired the Los Angeles-based AI studio Secret Level to produce the spot. This time, though, the ad features just animals. The only person seen is a Santa Claus at the end, based on the company's original drawing. Coca-Cola inaugurated the modern depiction of Santa. But on top of that, there have been also some other comments and other justifications that they would try to go and do, like this one right over here, in which Thakar also adds, while the current generation of AI can often take a disconcertingly stylized quality, Coca-Cola sought to lean into a bug by choosing to portray not people but anthropomorphic animals, which they say they couldn't do before. Last year, it was difficult to get those expressions from animals, so we had to use human faces. Now technology has evolved to where we can. And from there, they even add, there's even one extra comment that I want to go and add here, in which it even says, last year, we decided to go all in, and it worked out well for us, noting that consumer engagement was very high. Yes, some parts of the industry were not pleased we were using a 100% generative AI film, but that's part of the parcel of doing some pioneering. We understand that concern, but we need to keep moving forward and pushing the envelope. Thakar says the company was open to using it for activations in other times of the year, even high-impact ones like March Madness, where he added, the genie is out of the bottle and you're not going to put it back in. But despite that, so far, the results have not been different. So far, the grand majority of people have been giving it, what the fridge? This is not my link. What is this? Okay, there we go. Okay, I don't know. It somehow loaded me something completely different. But yes, according to the Daily Mail here, yeah, most people are actually very upset with this Coca-Cola ad, and that it's for the same reasons, that it's just basically basically just using AI instead of hiring actual artists in order to go and make it. And what's even crazier, by the way, is that they tried to go and explain to themselves, they tried to go and explain that technically not everything is made with AI. And they tried to go and disprove the criticism that they didn't hire actual people in order to go and create the commercial. And I'm just wondering if over here they tried to say if there is that explanation. Actually, here, let me just go and if I would go and see if there is that. Okay, no. Okay, maybe it wouldn't explain it here. But they try to go and make an excuse with this where, okay, as I was saying, just to recollect my thoughts, but basically when people try to go after this commercial and saying that nobody actually worked on it, Coca-Cola would try to go and say, no, we hired some people. We actually did get some people who did work on the commercial. The singers are actual people who sang the jingle of Holidays Are Coming. And that was their one excuse, but that still didn't change anything that Coca-Cola still released a Christmas ad or a holiday ad that featured AI, or that is entirely made with AI. And it's still continuing that stupid cycle again. Just Coca-Cola repeating their same stupid mistake. Now, first and foremost, let me just go and actually comment on the freaking commercial that, okay, some could argue maybe it might look a little bit better than how it does last year, but that still doesn't change that it looks like absolute crap. And one thing that many people brought up is actually in regards to the trucks themselves. If you look carefully at those trucks, like with every shot that would go and pass by, you'll actually notice that in each shot, the tires, they actually change. Like the placement would be all over the place. Like this shot here, you'll see this truck, it has one wheel in the front and 3 wheels in the back. But the previous shot that I showed you, like this truck here, there's 1 in the front, there's then 2 in the middle, and then you got another random one, and then like 2 in the back. And wait, there's more, because like you'll also look like over here. Like this is another one where it's just 1 in the front and then 2 in the back. And like it just keeps going. And then like you see here, there's 1 in the front and then 1 in the middle and then 2 in the back. They keep changing up, like how many wheels are there? And some could argue, well, this is showing all around the world. These are different trucks. No, these are supposed to be like the same freaking trucks. And then the animals. Oh my God. I don't think they made it clear that this is supposed to be from around the world. It honestly feels like the freaking trucks are going in this one street and they pass by these random freaking animals that feel like they're out of place. It's like, oh, suddenly they pass by penguins, and then suddenly you get a panda, and then suddenly there's a sloth. Suddenly we get a sloth over here. They're passing by the freaking jungle. And then you get these seals in which, oh my God, the way they clap, it's just, one of them is weird. It's like the way the seal claps is like, it's like, no, that's not how seals work. And then there's a moment, like they also got hedgehogs. Like, I don't know about you, this is unnatural, honestly. You just see that, like, they're just amazed. They're like, oh, but there's something about this that feels wrong. This is not well animated, or if you could call this animation. And then not to mention, like, trying to generate all these bunnies. Like, oh boy, was it having a hard time trying to make freaking rabbits. Oh boy. Like, there's just so much in here that's just absolutely wrong. But then again, but here's the thing. Yes, like, we can go on and on and on with what is wrong with this with this commercial. Like, it is objectively horrible. And I know that using the, saying that something is objectively wrong is bad in itself, but it's not like there was any artist that actually worked on this thing. Like, for God's sakes, it's AI. It's pretty much generated by computers. So the visuals, they are objectively bad because nobody actually did work on this thing. Actually, no. I take that back. There is at least one person who did work on the visuals. There is one who did actually go and work on the AI to go and add a human touch to make things a little bit consistent. And the proof that I have for you on this is actually the Coca-Cola name. Because you'll see, if there's one thing that is consistent in each shot, it's not the animals, it's not the environment, it's not the trucks, but it's the Coca-Cola brand. Because the thing is, right now with AI, it is still in a phase, right now, the technology is still not strong enough to actually produce persistent writing. You won't see actual good writing that is formed. Even when you look at the trucks in the beginning, for example, there's one shot here, you'll see that the license plate or even the logo of the truck is all muffled up and it's just random. Even here, it's having a hard time writing down a 9 and a 3 and stuff like that. But in each shot, you'll be sure that the Coca-Cola name is fine. So there is at least one person who would have to go into each shot to make sure that the Coca-Cola logo still looks good. But still, though, that doesn't change that this is just freaking crap. And it's honestly hilarious that now Coca-Cola is putting in more effort onto trying to defend their use of AI than actually making that godforsaken commercial, making all the freaking excuses in the world. And you know what's actually hilarious is that they tried so hard to justify their use, they would also go and release a behind the scenes video showing the making of this ad, trying to highlight that, oh, when we're doing AI, it's a lot of hard work. We actually have hundreds of people who are trying to make this commercial look the best that it can be. And we actually have artists that put their touch to make sure that it has a very nice, distinct look. But the insane thing about that behind the scenes video, trying to justify their use of AI, believe it or not, that thing was also AI. I'm not joking. People have actually pointed out that when they see the artist trying to put their pen on the tablet and try to draw and stuff like that, or when they show all the examples of the different concept arts that they would go and do, that is also AI generated. They literally made an AI generated video of them making the AI for the Coca-Cola commercial. They're in a freaking infinite loop of AI just trying to justify their use of the technology. And every time they try to justify that they are using AI, the worse that it just gets, over and over and over. But the thing is, with all of this going on, the crazy thing, even though I would try to go and say that with with Coca-Cola trying to justify their use of AI, they're not trying to justify to the people out there, to say that what they are doing is good. They're not justifying to the public about their use of AI. They're trying to justify to themselves. In a way, Coca-Cola is putting out these public statements where they're just talking to themselves to say that their use of AI is actually good, that is actually worthwhile, that it is helping their business, that people are enjoying it. Like it really is a lot of cognitive dissonance where it's just like they're doing all the mental gymnastics to fool themselves more so than fooling anybody else in the public to say that what they are doing with AI is good. And the big reason for that is because of the investment that they have made. Yes, AI, like we all know that the primary use of AI is that corporations would go and save hundreds of millions of dollars instead of just hiring artists to go and actually put in the work to create their commercials. But still, when it comes to Coca-Cola, on the other hand, they actually spent billions of dollars to completely change up the company so that they could go and integrate AI. And this is not just Coca-Cola. Like many, if not most major corporations right now, they have put in a major investment onto AI in the hopes that it could save them money in the long run. But right now, it doesn't really seem like it. Like they don't want to go and present to the world that they've spent billions of dollars on something that just ends up being an L and that's it. So that's why they're desperately trying to make that justification to themselves to say that the billions of dollars that they've invested on the technology is worth it. And this is all despite the fact that right now, the end of AI could possibly be near. Because maybe you have seen on social media that people are discussing that we are getting closer and closer for the AI bubble to go and ultimately burst right there. And the thing is, when it comes to that AI bubble possibly bursting, we are starting to see that decline actually go and occur. That there have been reports where companies who did spend on AI, they are already losing a lot of money. They're already losing millions, if not billions of dollars in their own revenue. And then you got OpenAI, one of the biggest AI companies out there. They are flat out dying, where they have confessed that they have legit lost billions of dollars just on trying to make the technology that ultimately went nowhere. And that's why they are currently going to the US government demanding that they would go and have a bailout, that they're asking the US government to get taxpayers' money so that they could have $20 billion to bail them out from possibly being bankrupted. That they're pretty much at that stage right now. And I'm just gonna say, honestly, as much as it would be great to see them crash and burn, I wouldn't be surprised if the GOP would go and actually give them that $20 billion, because right now Republicans are pretty much dependent on AI in order to go and spread their agenda. But regardless, that, like, honestly, this overall just feels massively sad. Like I know that deep down, the executives of Coca-Cola knew that this investment that they put onto AI, it's an absolute waste. And right now, they're just humiliating themselves again and again with these holiday commercials that's just nothing but AI. And I know that there are some people out there who might go and argue that, oh, well, nowadays hiring people is just so expensive, like artists and animators and a film crew. Like, honestly, maybe you would have a point if this is just a small mom and pop shop. But this is freaking Coca-Cola. We're talking about a billion-dollar empire and one of the biggest companies in the United States, or even the entire world. And they have been, like, even between those AI holiday commercials that they have done, they have already produced many, if not hundreds of commercials that didn't need AI, that they didn't use AI, that they actually hired artists and animators, that they did hire a film crew, that they did hire actual actors and stuff like that. They've already done it so many times before. Why would they need to do so with the holiday commercials? So yeah, honestly, pretty soon, we need, these companies better go and take the L and just move on, because otherwise they're going to lose a lot more than just money if they keep that thing up. Again, the AI bubble is pretty much in a direction where it's about to burst pretty soon. So it won't be long that there will be casualties, or at least in terms of corporations, that there will be casualties that they're going to go down with AI. All right, now with that said, now I'd like to go and pass this on to the chat wall, and I'd like to know, what do you all think about the controversy with Coca-Cola using AI in order to make their commercials, or specifically their holiday commercial, again? Let me know what you all think. All right, so let's see here. Their new AI ad is so awful. The fact that Coca-Cola thinks it's a good idea to do AI again for their commercials is very tone deaf and stupid. The way they explain their reasoning is also very weak and tone deaf. I'm honestly happy I stuck with Pepsi. Haven't had Coke in 5 years, so yeah. I hate the new ad. Also, drink water. Actually, that is the greatest lesson of all. You know, why drink Coke when you could just drink water? And if you're watching or listening to this right now, have you remembered to drink water? If so, if not, do so right now. Like this is just your little message out there to drink water. All right. Anyways, okay, Coke, please just stop with this AI bullcrap. I keep on thinking 4 words. Here we go again. You really want risk that much you want to really risk that much backlash again after your media nightmare last year? I have to go, come on. What the hell is this benefit? What the hell does this benefit? You got immense backlash last year. What makes you think this will be different? I don't know. Again, it's not about justifying to people. It's about justifying themselves. And they're spending all that money. If you spend billions of dollars on something, then yeah, it's going to affect you mentally, where you would be in a position where you would desperately try to justify, no, what I did is good. No, this is the right thing to do. No, I made a good investment. This'll bring more profits back to me. You know, it's that mindset. Let's see now. I can't believe that Coca-Cola did it again. The fact that they did another AI generated commercial, even after all that backlash they got last year, to me, this is just the definition of tone deaf. Seriously. They also have no shame whatsoever. Why couldn't they just use one of their classic holiday commercials? If M&M's and Hershey's Kisses can do it, why not Coca-Cola? Oh, that does remind me. Pretty soon we are going to see the grand return of, so do you think Santa will like these red and green M&Ms? Oh, God. I can pretty much recite that commercial by heart at this point. I've seen it so many times throughout the years. It's a godforsaken classic. Let's see now. Honestly, Matt, I'm not much of a Coca-Cola person. I'm more into Pepsi, but I hate AI-generated slop. With those Coca-Cola Christmas ads, and especially those horrible leaked Kingstone Studios AI-generated animation tests they did for VeggieTales, and they're supposed to make that future Larry Boy movie. It's all basically the cheapest of lows in animation in general, as it feels very robotic and lazy. Can we all agree? Oh, absolutely. And actually, you know what? I don't want to go and end this off on a very negative note. I'm sure many of you are still very much upset about how Coca-Cola used AI. But I want to go and cap this episode off by showing you a good commercial. A commercial in which did not use AI and really does highlight the holiday charm. So, without further ado, let's go and actually cap this off by watching that commercial. So may I just say, Wallace Gromit, show them how it's done.
No sign of those carol singers yet, Gromit. Thanks, lad. At least somebody's got Christmas covered.
And that is what I call a holiday commercial, and that is what I call an episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. Thank you all so much for joining me on this, and man, is it great to be back, and I can assure you there will be more fun-filled episodes to come. And with that said, I would like to go and say that if you guys enjoyed this episode, don't forget to go and subscribe to either the AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast YouTube channel or the Animat Live Twitch channel. At the same time, if you are listening to this on whatever podcast service you're listening to, whether it be on Spotify, Amazon, Apple, and more, then don't forget to go and follow me there too. And with that said and done, I would like to say thank you all so much for listening. Thank you all so much for watching. And until next time, see you later, dudes.